Hey everyone, it's Work From Home Ben, and I'm here to give you a quick walkthrough of Tonkean. In a nutshell, Tonkean is a no-code workflow automation tool that handles the intake, triage, and coordination of all your legal processes. In this video, I quickly want to show you how we address all three areas. Let's start with intake. Tonkean is really big on reducing change management and bringing the intake to your requesters. So now your requesters can engage with you wherever they like to work, like requesting an NDA template over email, asking for an SOW template in Slack or Teams, or engaging with a form online that your team has already created on Smartsheets, SharePoint, Google Form, NetSuite, or a form owned by Tonkean itself. Let's walk you through a real example of this in Slack. Say that I'm a salesperson inside of your company and I want to engage with legal for an NDA. I can be inside of Slack, a place that I already live in, and go to a legal ops channel, like a knowledge management repository for the end user. I could just type in a human request like, I need an NDA, and Tonkean is already doing its work. It's listening for key phrases and words inside of that request, and then appropriately triaging it to the right human or automated response. Here the latter happens. Tonkean replies, sounds like you need to create an NDA, click the button below to continue. So instead of a simple question and answer response, we could actually deliver actions to the end user, providing them a form to actually generate the NDA, providing a drop-down list of all opportunities under the requester's name. I can type in a response, hit next, and then it delivers a pre-populated list of the information from Salesforce, essentially allowing me to confirm the data before I go ahead and generate an NDA. I go ahead and hit create, and then Tonkean launches an ironclad workflow automatically with that information. So to summarize, Tonkean is listening to all of your intake channels, triaging it to the right human or system, and then creating or updating records in those systems as we see right here. Tonkean just generated that NDA inside of Ironclad. It's currently in the review status. And then as the end user, I can click into that application and then see the response in real time. Going back to the Slack view, we can see info about that NDA request, proving that whenever a status event happens inside of Ironclad, the information can automatically be updated right here inside of this thread where the requester originally engaged with it. Tonkean does have an Ironclad integration, but it also has hundreds of other integrations that you can find on our data sources page. In addition to receiving Slack and email notifications, the requester can also go to this interface, which is kind of a Domino's pizza tracker for all of your legal requests. Here, the requester can see the type of request that came in, the person that's owning it, and all of the information that came from Ironclad, Slack, or any other single source of truth that's responsible for this information. There are also comments for follow-up coordination, as well as a timeline of events for logging purposes. So this is a great view to coordinate on a particular request, but what if you want to see all of your legal team's requests? Well, that's what workspaces are for. This customizable view is your one-stop shop to see all recent and active requests happening inside of your legal domain. At a quick glance, you can see all requests that have come into each intake channel, how it was triaged, and then the SLAs and dollar values that I know every manager needs to make important decisions. You can also see all active matters right here and be able to click and dial into their individual Domino's pizza tracker. And lastly, the million-dollar question is, how did all this get created? All these interfaces and pre-populated fields with due dates and owners and categories and charts automatically created. Well, that brings us to Tonkean's workflow automation tool. This automation builder is where your legal operations team will go to automate the intake, triage, and coordination of all these requests. Just pick an input source like Slack, Teams, Salesforce, Forms, or all four, and then continuously monitor them with Tonkean. We see here that when a Slack message with an NDA keyword is mentioned, the following flow executes, where a couple forms are followed up to the human, and then an Ironclad workflow is kicked off, and then that pizza tracker is automatically delivered to the Slack channel. With just a click of a button, we can continue this adventure, allowing the legal operations team to create more actions like providing multiple choice questions, sending an update form, providing action steps to the end user, or creating and updating records in one of the many enterprise applications that you would expect out of a workflow automation tool. And it obviously doesn't stop at NDAs. Chances are legal and other teams inside your company have several processes that require intake, triage, and coordination. If it has all three, it can be done in Tonkean. That kind of rhymes. Well, I hope that was a good little sampler of what Tonkean can do for your legal team's intake, triage, and coordination. Thanks for listening.